This is Tom Shakely, Chief Communications Officer for the Diocese of Arlington, coming to you from the Walk Humbly podcast with Bishop Michael Burbidge. This is a special episode recapping the great conversation from WorkCamp. The Diocese of Arlington sponsors WorkCamp every year. It's an annual youth ministry program that culminates in a week-long overnight camp, providing young people, teens of the diocese, with an opportunity to encounter Christ through service, faith, and fellowship. The program is administered by the Office of Youth, Campus, and Young Adult Ministries, and this conversation between Bishop Burbidge and a number of the young people from WorkCamp 2025 will give you an insight into this great annual event, and also information on how your young person, or you, if you are a young person, might be a part of it in years to come. Enjoy. So first up, Kevin Bohli, who you introduced, Bishop, at the beginning, Executive Director of the Office of Youth, Campus, and Young Adult Ministries. Kevin, welcome. You oversee WorkCamp.
Thank you, Tom, and welcome to you. Thanks for coming out to WorkCamp. It's your first time here.
It is my first time, yeah, it's true.
Great to have you.
It's good to be here. So you yourself were a first-time WorkCamper many moons ago, right?
That's right. I was an engineer back in 1994, and I was invited to come to WorkCamp as a contractor, and that started a whole process of discernment on my life, and I ended up leaving engineering and doing full-time youth ministry and eventually taking over this position in 2001. And so I've been leading WorkCamp for almost 25 years now.
So what makes WorkCamp so special?
WorkCamp, we focus 100% on the life of the early church, the Acts of the Apostles. And in the Acts of the Apostles, we hear how the early church gathered together, they shared all things in common, they started every day breaking the bread, they served those among them, they shared everything among themselves. And so that's what we're doing here. The first night of WorkCamp, I get up and I read that, and it's written right inside all of their name badges, so they can constantly always been going back to Acts, and just that's all we're doing. We're just living the gospel exactly the way Jesus intended those early disciples to. And if you read Acts, their numbers grew exponentially, right? Every day, thousands joined. And so that's why I think these young people experience great joy here, because they're living exactly the way Jesus intended us to live, in sharing, all things in common, and starting each day with prayer and the breaking of the bread. And when we do that, we have great joy, and our numbers keep increasing. So that's why, we're always looking for the biggest schools we can possibly find to fill up, because it takes a lot of room to have 1,400 people living here together for a week.
It's a city.
It is.
How many of them are work campers, or the young people, the 1,400?
So 740 young people here this year.
Wow.
And then if you put in all the adult leaders, the contractors, and the home-based support, and the kitchen staff, and the nurses staff, and the post office, and everything that we have here, all told, it's about 1,400 people.
And how are the projects chosen?
Yeah, so the projects, we contact the area once we know where we're going to have home base. We look 45 minutes in a circle around that area. So this year we're down to Harrisonburg, and we're all the way up to Winchester. And we contact all social service agencies. And so a lot of these people already are in touch with social service agencies for one reason or another. And we just say, here's the kind of projects we can do. We build a lot of wheelchair ramps. We replace a lot of windows, seal a lot of trailer roofs. So I think we're doing 12 roofs here this summer. And then we actually work with the schools. We say, if you know anybody in your school system that has, a grandmother that has need, or they're living in some sort of situation, then they get in touch with us. So the first year is a little tricky to find the projects, but then right now there's a lot of neighbors seeing the work being done on their neighbors' houses, and then they reach out to us and say, hey, I want to be on the list for next year.
And so when does preparation begin for next WorkCamp?
Yeah, so, right away, we're already, a little behind the eight ball. We got to make sure we're going to be, we know where exactly we're going to be. So God willing, we'll be right back here again next year. But then the young people start signing up in October. So I always get phone calls around, early May. Hey, I'd like my child to go to WorkCamp. And it's like, oh, unfortunately, we filled up months ago. The whole process begins in the fall. So if anybody listening says, hey, I want my child to go to WorkCamp next year, they need to get in touch with their parish. And almost all the parishes in the diocese participate. And just let them know, whenever WorkCamp starts up, I want to be on that list.
So Kevin, just real briefly, how does the spiritual component play into WorkCamp?
Yeah, every day we begin with Mass, and because we want them to understand that we become what we receive. We become Christ when we receive Christ each morning, and the response to that love of God, coming into us, is to want to go serve, to want to go share. And so it's a huge part of everything we're doing here. This is not just a service camp. This is all 100% focused on the life of the early church, and how can we replicate that, and how can we go out and serve as Christ. And so that's what these young people, I think, experience. They experience the joy of living the gospel message. But so we start every day with Mass, and then on their way to the work site, they have some devotions that they read and talk about. At lunch, they have devotions. They invite some of the residents sometimes to sit down with them and have a conversation. Then they come back here in the evening, and after they're showered and they eat dinner, then we have an evening program. And an evening program, there's a message each night, and we're trying to build the charisma as the week goes on. So we start off just talking about God. At the beginning of the week, we just say there is a God, and then it's a loving God, and God loves you. But that sometimes we fail, and so that's why we have reconciliation. And so last night we had a bishop and over 40 priests here to hear confessions for over an hour and a half of all these, hundreds of young people. But we finished the week by talking about the church, right? So, and then we're sent forth on Friday. So the whole week just kind of builds upon the faith life and why it's important to stay rooted in the sacraments and stay rooted in the church.
What always amazes me when I was out last night and just meeting all the young people at dinner, and then we went into the gymnasium, had Eucharistic adoration, and prior to that there was videos and hooting and hollering and all those fun, wonderful things, and all of a sudden, with the presence of the Blessed Sacrament, seeing 700 plus young people just become so reverent, so silent. It was just so beautiful. And then to be with like 40 of my brother priests celebrating God's mercy, and then the beautiful reverence and active participation at Mass this morning. And I said to my young friends today, I said, I always leave here super inspired. And if people want to know where's my hope in the church, it's what these young people bring now. We don't have to wait for them. They're here now. Bringing us a lot of gifts, a lot of talents and blessings, but also I see a lot of future leaders in our church who will be participating, pray God, in holy vocations, holy marriages, holy families. And so thank you. It's so great to be with all of them. So let's get to meet these young people.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk to our new friends. So let's go around and just please introduce yourself, your name, your parish, your school, and maybe if this is your first work camp or if you're returning.
I'm Jonathan from Holy Family. This is my second year.
I'm Kate. I'm from St. Bernadette, and this is my first year.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Matt. I am from St. James Parish. I just graduated high school in Falls Church, and this is my second year at work camp.
I'm Sophia, and I go to St. Joseph's, and this is my first year of work camp.
My name is Jonah. I go to St. Francis de Sales. I just graduated high school, and I go to Woodgrove High School.
My name is Esther, and I'm from St. Leo the Great Catholic Church, and I'm at dual enrollment at Nova right now.
Very good. So you have all kinds of options how to spend your summer and what to do, and you you decide to offer a full week of your time this summer to come to work camp. What motivates you? What got you to say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to sign up for work camp? Jonah?
Well, this is my third year at work camp, and for my first year, I heard stories about it, and I always was amazed of how many amazing stories that people told me about and how it changed people's lives. And at the time, I also needed service hours, so that got me to go. But after the week progressed and after the week finished, I realized just how joyful it was. And it was really the most impactful week of my life. So I came back the second year, and then I came back this year for the same exact reason. I wanted to feel that joy again, especially going off to Virginia Tech this fall. I wanted to finish my last summer before college on a very strong and faithful note.
That's great, Jonah. Thank you. Anyone else? What motivates you to be here, Sophia?
Something that motivated me was my brother. He's been going for 3 years, I believe, and he's told me so many great things about this and how he always comes back and feels so clean. It's just like a weight off his shoulders, having time to spend with God and his friends and meeting new people. And I just was really encouraged by that, and that's one of the main reasons why I decided to come to work camp.
Excellent. Thank you. Matt?
All right. Well, this is my second year at work camp, and I think like many people, my parents signed me up without my knowledge last year. And at first, I was like a little frustrated. I thought it would just be a week of free time taken away from my summer, but I totally agree with Jonah. And last summer for me, it was totally life-changing. When I got back home, all I wanted to do was go back and come back this year.
Wow.
I got so much closer to God last year, doing an experience that I hadn't even asked to do. So yeah, it was so life-changing. And coming back this year, it's even better this year. And I feel getting closer to him every single day that I'm here.
That is
I'm doing
great.
that work.
That's great
So
to hear.
Well, yeah, WorkCamp has been absolutely life-changing.
What helps you the most in growing closer to the Lord throughout this week?
For me, it's the combination of the Mass, the service, and also the program. I know it sounds like I'm just saying everything that we do, but I think all of it works so perfectly together. If we were just going to, church, or we were just doing service, I don't think it would kind of get the message across to everybody. And I think the podcast is aptly named, Walking with Humility. And I think that's what we're trying to do this week. We're trying to, work, which is humble. We're doing something that's hard, but we're doing something that is good. And I think there's no greater satisfaction than, serving in the best way that you can, and then going to a program with a Heavenly Father who loves you, and proclaiming His greatness all week. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So it's really comprehensive.
Absolutely.
All those aspects.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They all work so perfectly together. Yeah.
That's great. That's
Thank
wonderful to hear. Anyone else want to share with that, Esther? Yeah.
For me, what brought me to WorkCamp here is I did Catholic Heart a few years ago. I think it was my rising freshman year. And I did it through Catholic Heart, and there was a lot that I learned through the program. It was exhausting. It took a lot out of me, but the spiritual development and everything that I got from it in the end was very beneficial for me in the long run and really brought me closer to God. So when my parents said that they were willing to have me go to this program through the Diocese, I was really excited because I hadn't gotten to do it through the Diocese before, and I really did want to. And honestly, for a good while, I didn't want to go. I have lots of issues with loud spaces, and I didn't want to deal with the exhaustion or the fact that I wouldn't be able to contact some friends that I have that are even overseas right now. And so at first I was like, I'm not sure I want to go, but my parents urged me to consider it and to go. And I mean, my mom would be volunteering there, so if I really did need to leave, she'd be there, so I'd be able to get back. But ever since I got here, I mean, I've just had this incredible pull, and it's been amazing. I still love all the spiritual development that comes from this place.
That is great. That's great to hear. Thanks for sharing that. John or Kate, do you, when you go to the site to work, do you encounter the people for whom you're doing the work?
Yeah, our resident, Miss Maria, is one of the sweetest women you could ever meet. In fact, during lunch, she brings us watermelon because she sees us working so hard, and it's just, I can feel God calling to me saying, you can trust this woman. She is a version of me. She is here. She is sweet. She is kind, and she just enjoys what we're doing. She watches us. She cheers for us. She's just always there, and it's an incredible feeling.
Wow, that is, and like you said, that's the Lord's messenger in many ways for you, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
How about you, John?
It's really amazing that these people let these complete strangers come help them, because you have to have a certain amount of humility and just faith to let people do that. Like, there's got to be all those fears people have, and still they let these teenagers with 2 adults or more come and help them, and it's really special to see that.
Yeah, and I know we often hear, don't we, Kevin, how grateful the people are, not just for the work that's been done, but for encountering themselves, these young people.
That's right. We when we're selecting the sites, we actually want to make sure that the resident is going to be around, because a lot of times residents, they work during the day, and so it's not the same experience for a young person if they don't get to meet the person. So that's beautiful to hear that this resident is there and she's around, and because that's a huge part of WorkCamp is that the resident and the young people are building this relationship, and that it's kind of a symbiotic relationship. That each one of them is really benefiting from the other.
Right. And I think some of you kind of already answered this, but maybe could elaborate a little bit. What is it that you experience at WorkCamp or learn from WorkCamp that you want to take home with you, or your next step in life that you're motivated to do even more deeply or in an increased way, Matt?
I'd say, especially since I graduated high school, I'm going to be going to college and then, the workforce. Something that we do here is we work with God, and something that I want to bring after I leave WorkCamp this year is like, God is with me wherever I go,
right.
Whoever I'm with, whatever work I do, whatever experiences in life I have, however high I climb, however far I fall, the Lord is there. So just knowing that He never leaves me is something that I really hope I just never forget. And that's the main thing, albeit simple, that I want to, leave WorkCamp with, and that I want to encourage everybody else here to remember. And also something that I can hopefully share with my friends back home who maybe don't know it as well as they ought to. Yeah, that, the Lord is with you. He is with me, and He'll be with all of us for all of our lives.
And what a great reality to embrace, isn't it? Especially as you embark on something new and something
right.
very big that you're about to leap forward. Mm-hmm. And it's what the Lord told all the people He sent forth, right? Like, go, but right. be assured, I go with you. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, He just takes that fear away in your heart. If you rely on Him,
right.
Everything is possible. So
that's great.
Definitely.
Jonah?
Fortunately, at home, my family brings us to Mass every Sunday, and I go to confession once a month. So I feel like that part of WorkCamp I have really well at home. And the evening program part of WorkCamp, I also feel like I have really well at home because I go to my youth group every Sunday, or as often as possible. But the third aspect of WorkCamp that I feel like I definitely want to take out of this week is the service part. I definitely want to continue helping people, especially when I go off to college, just like Matt, but also just at home. I know my parents are getting older, especially because my older siblings are working full time now. So, and my younger sister, she's too little to help out that much. So I'm kind of what's left to help my parents around the house and do whatever they need me to do. So that's definitely one thing I want to do when I get home. And then when I go off to college, I definitely want to volunteer more and join their Catholic community, and hopefully, just as much as I do with my youth group here, volunteer there for the community, the Catholic community there.
And so even though the work and the sacrifice are all pretty significant, you're finding joy in carrying out that service that you want to maintain, sounds like.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great. Well, you reflect that joy, so keep doing that service. Esther, what were you going to say?
What I really want to bring back is actually this specific thing I discovered through doing another service project. When you do a lot of service and do a lot of good for the community, it brings this sort of love and this certain smile on your face that it's really real, and people don't get to see that very often.
Yeah.
And I ran into this one guy many months ago. I think it was even last year, but it feels like it was just yesterday. And it was just at a coffee shop after I did, after I gave meals to the homeless at the Lamb Center shelter that was nearby. And he said, I've never seen such a genuine smile on somebody's face.
Oh, wow.
I really hope that you're able to do this more. He just came to me. He was the sweetest man. And since then, I've always yearned to do more service from that. And what I really want to bring back from camp, which I needed to lead on in the first place, but I want to bring back that love that radiates from people after they do these things. I want to be able to be that open window that people can go to when they know they need help, when they know they need service, and know that the person that they're talking to will abundantly bless them with whatever they can give.
That's very good. That's beautiful.
Yes.
And that's what a wonderful way to offer witness in a very genuine way. And we never know how the Lord uses that what we offer.
Prayer-wise, I really want to bring more liturgy of the hours back home. I really enjoy doing it here. I go to night prayer every single night. I highly encourage other people to do it too. It's a wonderful experience every time. And I want to do that more when I get back because I don't do it as often.
Yeah, bring that back home with you. That is excellent. How is the message of WorkCamp different than what you hear in the world? Like, it seems to me that when the world tells us what we need to be happy, to be fulfilled, is a little bit different than what you're hearing at WorkCamp, Kate?
For me personally, hearing of WorkCamp, it sounded like a safe sanctuary where we could all come and just be with God and pray. No one was telling us that we were doing anything wrong, because there's no wrong way to pray, and that we could all be civil and kind and respectful here. The world has a evil habit of telling us there's only one right way to do something. But here at WorkCamp, even if you make a mistake, no one's going to judge you for it. No one is going to tell you that you're wrong. They might have a different opinion, but they would never say that to your face. And even taking that to our work sites, our contractor is so nice. Even when we make mistakes, he goes, "That's okay, we just got to do it again." He would never yell or scream at us as, some other people might. But it's just such a great place to come and feel at peace instead of having your mind filled with different thoughts.
Right. Thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Yes. Sophia?
I feel as if in the world there are many norms that everybody just follows like sheep, and I feel like at WorkCamp everybody's here for the right reasons, and everyone has, even though they do have their own opinion, like Kate mentions, they would never just say that you're wrong or, do anything to hurt you. Everybody's here to praise the Lord and just to work on acts of service, which is just such an amazing thing that everyone gets to do, and they can just truly be themselves here. And I feel like that's a big aspect of why I wanted to come here, even though I was a little begrudging at first.
At first. That's not uncommon, is it, for some?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, like Matt said, their parents just sign you up, and I also was unknowing at first, and I really wasn't the most excited, but even after the first day, I was so overjoyed to be here.
That is great to hear.
So I'd be really curious to hear, whether you're here first time or returning. As Kevin mentioned, this is my first time at WorkCamp. So just pulling in and seeing the energy, the groups, priests among them, and everybody so excited to be here was really energizing. But whether it's your first time or not, and whether you were kind of voluntold to come, or whether you did it because you saw it and you were just super, super enthusiastic, what is the most surprising thing to you? And we've talked a lot about liturgy, about prayer, about drawing closer to God. What's something surprising that we haven't talked about?
Jonah.
I think something really surprising about WorkCamp, this is my third time, by the way, but the most beautiful thing about WorkCamp is going to church every morning, and especially adoration and confession on Tuesday night. Just seeing all the teenagers just kneeling before the Lord or receiving the Eucharist, that's just a visual you never see ever. Especially in this day and age, there are a lot of teenagers that are not strong in their faith. Maybe they are Catholic, but they're not strong. So seeing this amount of teenagers growing in their faith together, it's just really beautiful. Fortunately, my family is very, very devout Catholic. And but unfortunately, whenever I go to Mass, I feel like I don't see that many teens. But here at WorkCamp, it's just really amazing.
Yeah, I have to admit, myself just looking out last night and seeing just like you mentioned, Jonah, the reverence and people kneeling quietly before the Blessed Sacrament. It was such a beautiful sight. It really was. Sophia?
For me, I think it was last night's Eucharistic adoration and confession. It was just so beautiful. And just hearing everybody sing with their whole heart and really meaning what they're saying with the lyrics to the songs, especially when the instruments cut out and we just continued to sing. I think that was just beautiful. And even a couple of times, just when it was dead silent, it just brought me so much joy. And I even started to cry a little bit because it was just so beautiful. And I feel like being there with my friends also, I saw them have the same reaction, and it was just so beautiful.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that, Sophia. Matt?
Yeah, I completely agree with Jonah and Sophia. I think WorkCamp is something, it surprised me how real it is. It's not like the church camp stereotype. It's really just like, it's as real as it gets. And I think like one of those moments was last night, when the music cut out, when we were all adoring Christ in the Eucharist. I almost felt like that was like God talking to us. Everybody kept singing. It was, like you said, 750 almost teens from, a totally secular world coming together and kind of just forgetting, the self-consciousness and lack of humility that our world puts pressure on us to, act in all the ways. And people were just closing their eyes. They weren't afraid to sing. They held their hands and sang. And just hearing everybody's voices was just like truly amazing,
Yeah. Thank you, Matt.
Absolutely.
John?
For me, it's the way that everybody changes for the better here. I've never seen somebody come back from work camp and be a worse person. Especially in my own life, this is my second year here. I've been changed so much last year. My faith was okay back then, but after work camp, it was much deeper. And I saw it with my brother too, who had a similar experience. And now this year, I was in a dark place a while back, and now I'm feeling myself returning to who I am and finding myself more, and not just finding myself, finding Jesus and the Holy Spirit in me, and knowing where to go when I need to find the good in myself and to kind of send that out into the world.
Wow. God is, he's working amazingly in your life right now. That's beautiful to hear. I'm so grateful that it's been such a blessing for you. Kate?
Along with Eucharistic adoration, the bravery and trust that everyone brings to work camp. Coming here, I was so nervous that I wasn't going to open up to anyone in my crew. But now I can definitely say I was able to trust myself and trust in the Lord. And now look at me. I can say that I have, 5 new friends. It's just an incredible experience to come here and be at peace and be silent and reverent. And then again, out of the blue, you can start singing when music cuts out. It's just an incredible feeling to just sit there and feel God's presence. It's absolutely amazing.
Thank you, Kate.
If I could just jump in, Bishop, just one thing that's very purposeful is that if you can tell, these 6 young people are from 6 different churches, and we do that on purpose. We want them to come here and kind of have a fresh start. They're not bringing their baggage from home. They can just meet new friends, be totally new in this little community here, and that brings a great openness and joy. And they also don't have their cell phones, and so they're not connected to all the garbage and things that they kind of have to feel like they stay up on all the time. Here, they can just be a part of this community of these friends and not focus on all the other baggage that they bring from their past.
They're without the phones all week, right?
Exactly. Yeah. No cell phones here at WorkCamp for the young people.
That's amazing. Amazing. I have one final question. So some of your peers are listening to this podcast, and they're going to think, I wonder if this is something I should do next year or not. And they're kind of on the fence. What do you tell them?
Do it. 100% do it. It's worth it, I promise.
Great. What do you tell them, Matt?
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. I'd just say go into it with an open mind. I guess ask the Lord whether you believe or not. Just I don't know, extend that branch out and just ask Him to give you the courage to just not be afraid and just do if you really feel like inclined to do it. Don't let worldly things or pressures you feel in yourself hold you back from coming and growing closer to a God who created you unique. Right after Him, I think it would make anybody coming here happier to just spend a week here with the Lord and with other people, on the same mission of service. So yeah, absolutely recommend anybody.
That's great, Matt. Thanks, Johnny.
I just want to be clear that everything we're saying is genuinely coming from the heart. Like, we just figured out that we were going to be on this podcast only like an hour ago. So we had no time for preparation, and everything that we're saying, none of it's scripted. It's just all coming from the heart. So that's how you know that we're not just saying it to say it. Like, we mean it. WorkCamp really does bring a lot of joy to all of us. So if you're debating going, just go. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid. You'll absolutely love it. It'll be life-changing. Just go.
Thank you. Esther?
I just wanted to say that the Lord welcomes all teenagers with open arms to these programs. And if you really need a getaway where you want to feel more love in your life and you want to experience more truth and the ability to experience the whole world through a different lens, through a more spiritual lens, I definitely recommend going. It might not seem like a vacation with all the service you're doing in the searing heat, but from what I've noticed, even with all of these struggles and all of the tiredness you get from this, you don't feel anxiety from this. Everything you're doing really grows you spiritually. And in the long run, while it might feel exhausting, I've always gone home from these things feeling a lot more refreshed than I ever have going to any other vacation before.
That is great. Sophia?
We have a saying here that lean into it, and I think you really, if you're debating whether you should come, just lean into it and you should come, because it deepened my faith so much, and I think I can say the same for my peers, like it will do the same for you.
That's right. John?
For me, the thing that I'd say is whether you're in a good place or a bad place, if you have a good relationship with God or a bad one, no matter where you are in life, this will put you somewhere better. This will put you in better communication with the Lord. And if you're afraid of just the experience itself not doing that for you for whatever reason, there's so many priests here that you can talk to if not, because you may think that you just see the priests in the masses or confessions, but no, you can just see them walking through the halls, getting their dinner. It's amazing to see how humble even the staff is here. You can talk to them. Like, you even see Kevin Bohli get in line for lunch. He doesn't go and sit on his own.
It is amazing, Kevin and his team, to be so available, and also to see our priests. Thanks for mentioning that, John. That our priests come out in such great number, which is, I hope you all see, is a reflection of how much me and my brother priests care for you, and how much we love you and want to support you in every way possible. And Joni, you made a good point. We deliberately did not tell you were going to be in this podcast yesterday because you'd be thinking about it all day. And so, as you mentioned, everything is just so genuine, and our listeners can't see you, but I can. And it's nothing but genuine, and it's coming from your heart. And I am so grateful to you for so willingly speaking from your heart and sharing your experiences with all who will listen to this podcast. Thank you so much for communicating what this experience has been like for you.
Yeah, thanks so much, WorkCamp friends. It's really beautiful to see, in the testimony that we've heard here from each of you, the courage and the friendship that's at the heart of the discipleship you talked about, Kevin and Bishop, of WorkCamp, of living like the earliest Christians. So yeah, really, really inspiring. If you're listening and you missed what Kevin mentioned earlier, and you're thinking, I want to be a part of WorkCamp, it fills up fast. So check out our website, arlingtondiocese.org, to learn more, or just swipe down into the show notes and you can click a link there to get information on WorkCamp, how to be a part of it, how to support it, and how to grow deeper with God. Bishop, I know WorkCamp continues, but this conversation is coming to an end. Do you have any final thoughts for us?
Yes, we have to get these 6 wonderful people back to their site and can continue this work. No, I just pray to God for myself and for all who are listening, that as we listen to these wonderful young men and women today, that we're all inspired to renew our commitment to love God even more deeply, allow ourselves to rest, to come into His presence, and to reflect that love in our willingness to serve others. So I hope my young friends here, that your words inspire all of us to do the same, and promise that this day and always we will walk humbly with our God.